Right here at 5 o'clock on this Monday, stripping away a bar's liquor license and giving more power to Louisville authorities to do it during an emergency. The action city leaders are pushing for after a violent weekend. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Shay McAllister. It comes after a string of homicides over the weekend, including a shooting at Cafe 360 right in the heart of the Highlands on Bardstown Road. LMPD responded to the shooting at 3:30 a.m. on Sunday on calls about a man that was down inside the bar. Well, the victim was later identified as Theodore Brown and was pronounced dead at the scene. Police are still searching for the suspects in this case as senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Jessica Farley talked to the business owner today. The city now calling for change.
Remnants of crime scene tape are still visible along Bardstown Road, right outside Cafe 360, a popular late-night bar where Metro Police spent part of their afternoon Monday. The bar's owner, who didn't want to be identified, tells me he's troubled by what he describes as a fight that escalated inside, leading to that deadly shooting. The co-founder of Against the Grain Brewery, just doors down, Sam Cruz, calls the tragic incident deeply sad.
Our safety of our guests and our team are paramount, so we're always looking to see what's going on.
Now the city is looking at policy changes. Louisville's mayor and Metro Alcoholic Beverage Control sending a request to the state to suspend the bar's liquor license while the investigation plays out. The process to suspend a liquor license here in Louisville typically has to go to the state for approval, but now there is a push here locally to give Metro Alcoholic Beverage Control more autonomy to make that call in emergencies. On Monday, the city also publicly endorsed a proposal to give local authorities that power without the state's approval if there's deemed to be a threat to public safety. The amendment, if passed, would guarantee a suspension hearing within 3 days. The sponsor, Metro Councilman Rick Blackwell.
We need to make sure that we have every available resource in our professionals' hands to be able to deal with those threats.
Businesses like Against the Grain say they're open to the idea if carried out correctly.
It can be a very fair action, but it can be very one-sided if the collective of businesses isn't looked at on the whole. Supporting the local businesses and the community with more law enforcement presence is good, but I also think the city needs to support law enforcement as well.
Meanwhile, Cafe 360's owner tells me he'll be adding security to his staff. Closed Monday, he says they'll reopen Tuesday, vowing his team will make it through this. Isaiah Kim Martinez, WHAS11 on your side.
Councilman Blackwell's proposals will be discussed at a Metro Council committee meeting coming up this Wednesday.
If it gets a vote and passes, it would be eligible for a full council vote coming up on Thursday of next week. That is March 14th.
Now taking a closer look, Metro government has already worked to give its alcoholic beverage control unit more independence and more power. Back in December, Mayor Craig Greenberg announced that Metro ABC would move out from under codes and regulations and become its own agency. And within the last year, Metro ABC made efforts to discipline late-night bars and restaurants that were causing problems. That includes a zero-tolerance policy for bar noise violations in the city. Previously, ABC officers would issue warnings to businesses. Now, they have the power to immediately issue a $2,500 fine for the first offense. That requires people to call in and report the noise levels for those fines to actually be given. Metro ABC has ensured business owners that if they do respond to a complaint and they don't find evidence of a problem, they will not issue a fine.
The shooting at Cafe 360 was just one of several across Louisville this weekend. 3 people were killed at other locations. The first happening Saturday morning on 4th Street, not far from the Sealback Hotel, leaving 24-year-old Larry Walker dead and a woman injured. Around the same time, a deadly shooting at an apartment complex in the Bon Air neighborhood took the life of a woman and left a man fighting for his life in the hospital. And then Saturday night, another shooting and 2 more victims, this time in the Wilder Park neighborhood. Police say 1 victim died from their injuries. The other is in the hospital. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg reacted to the violence from the weekend, saying every loss of life is a tragedy and the acts of violence this weekend are unacceptable. We are working with urgency to make our city safer. Right now, Metro Police still looking for suspects in most of these shootings. If you have information that can help detectives, call anonymously at 574-LMPD.
Today, thanks and praise continue to pour into Louisville for that local firefighter who performed the miraculous rescue of a semi-truck driver over the edge of the 2nd Street Bridge.
The story has captivated national attention, and now we're learning about what was going through his mind and the emotions of his friends and family. He appeared this morning on ABC's Good Morning America right here on WHAS 11. This was the rescue performed by firefighter Bryce Carden in the Louisville Fire Department. Through the work of a crane, Carden was rappelled down to the cab overhanging the Ohio River, and when he made contact with the driver, he says they prayed together before getting her into the harness, and that's when they were raised right back up to safety on the bridge. Carden's wife, Caitlin, says she did not know he was the rescuer until they were up on that bridge.
I found out kind of right after she got pulled out of the cab and they were on their way up. So I was watching it live on Facebook, knowing then that it was him, and it just a lot of emotions were going on, but I was just shaking. Like I didn't know what to really think.
Well, even though Carden's training has prepared him for that very moment, he took a moment beforehand to remember his loved ones at home.
Before I went over the edge, I have a picture of myself in Oakland, and I looked down. I was like, all right, here we go. Like that was the last thing I looked at. But yeah, having a family at home, of course, you try to be safe as you can. But this job has a lot of we do a lot of dangerous stuff. And at the time, like I was saying during the run, you're locked in on the task at hand.
Well, right now, plans are underway to repair the 2nd Street Bridge in the works for the Transportation Cabinet in Kentucky. The bridge reopened on Saturday night.
The process to pull the truck back onto the bridge took several hours on Friday evening. Over the weekend, KYTC inspected the bridge both above and below the roadway deck. The agency determined it was safe for vehicles and partially reopened the bridge. Now, KYTC says it's putting together an emergency maintenance project to address the sidewalk and damaged hand railing.
Also, we have new video today of the ongoing demolition of the big apartment complex 310 at Nulu Apartments. It's been 2 weeks since that massive fire destroyed the building, making it structurally unsound. The demolition order was filed shortly afterwards. Again, this is new video from the Sky 11 drone today. Our now residents' belongings that are salvageable are being saved in a pile for the victims to go through, and the debris and ruined cars are also being piled up separately.
Well, what a day to get outside and enjoy it. It's the beginning of March and it feels like it's the beginning of a new season, Doug.
Look at that. That almost looks like a summer sky out there. Let's check in with meteorologist Colleen Peterson. Colleen, I'm going to say it felt hot out there today.
It did. It did feel hot and humid, a little sticky out there. We have increased humidity, plenty of sunshine. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, this is just such a great way to start the week. If only every day was like this. In fact, we are actually going to be cloudy and wet throughout the rest of the week. So today was that day to enjoy that 77 sunny degree weather that we're actually still having. And in fact, after that time change, we're going to get lighter later into the day, hour-wise. So 77 right now at the Ollie International, and we are starting to see some clouds starting to stream its way in. So we will have increasing cloud coverage overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. Temperatures right now in the 70s. So tomorrow morning, make sure to grab that umbrella. We do have some widespread light rain in that forecast throughout the morning, mostly dry into the afternoon, but those clouds will be sticking around. Still pretty warm with a high of 70 tomorrow afternoon, but with that rain tomorrow, this is what we're watching. Thankfully, that line is going to weaken. It is creating a few severe thunderstorm warnings across Illinois along that border. Once it heads our way, it is just going to be some light rain. I'll time it out and also talk about what else you have in store for your week ahead coming up. Doug, Shay.
Thank you, Colleen. Happening tonight, another Nelson County School Board meeting going to be underway. According to the agenda, the board plans to talk about the superintendent's evaluation and performance, and it could lead to discipline. This all comes after months of tension between the board and the community following a controversial vote to merge some of the district's middle schools. We've got a crew from the night team in Nelson County right now covering the meeting, and we'll have their story coming up at 11 on the WHAS 11 night team.
The Kentucky legislature is now moving forward with a bill aimed at cutting down on unruly behavior on school buses. House Bill 446 passed the House with only one no vote. The bill would require school districts to establish policies outlining what's expected of students riding school buses and the consequences if the students fail to meet those standards. Both students and parents would have to sign a document acknowledging the policy each school year. And if they don't, a student's bus riding privileges could be revoked.
Accountability. What happens when you get so far out of line that you're stopping a school bus from operating? You're causing the school bus driver to quit their job.
The bill did pass out of the House on Friday. It is now heading to the Senate.
The Kentucky Court of Appeals rejected a lawsuit brought on by the governor regarding appointments of the Executive Branch Ethics Commission. And Andy Beshear tonight is calling the ruling dangerous. Governor Beshear filed it after House Bill 334 passed a couple of years ago, which takes away some of his authority in choosing people to the commission and shifts the majority of the appointments to other statewide officers. In a statement, Attorney General Russell Coleman said this ruling makes sure the Executive Branch Ethics Commission lives up to its name. The governor's attempt to pack the commission, he goes on to say, was the type of playing politics that he claims to rise above. Meantime, Governor Beshear's team called the ruling dangerous, saying it allows the General Assembly to strip the governor of his authority and give it to others who don't have the same constitutional duty to uphold our laws. We will be asking the Kentucky Supreme Court to hear this case.